Hey guys, what's up? Are you ready for a tutorial? We are going to start off with a little bit of thinking particles. And I saw this outro from, I think it's X Particles, and it's this. And I kind of thought we could make, well, it's not going to be the exact same thing, but kind of the principle of it. I think we can pull this off. It won't be as beautiful as this, but I'm gonna make the system for it in thinking particles. And if you hate me for not making more full-on tutorials with After Effects and all the shading and stuff, just you can always tell me you hate me and maybe send me some flowers and maybe I can start making more 100% instead of just saying, hey, this is how you can make it. And then I just stop and make a ugly ass gray render that we're going to do today. But hopefully you're going to enjoy it anyways. So I just made a quick render here for what we're going to create. We're not going to do both of them. We're just going to do the text. It's basically just I just I just rendered out uh, gray materials more or less, and just did some After Effects stuff with the glow and whatnot. But we're not gonna do that. But this is what we're gonna do with thinking particles, and so just, I'm gonna try to explain it here before we get started. So we have our shooter here, and it's just spawning some particles after it. It's not really that important, but there's no collision, there's nothing like that in this setup. Pretty basic. We're basically looking for a distance for this shooter particle, and it's looking for our fragmented uh, pieces that we can't see because they're scale 0, and it's just particles, so we're gonna do a distance check, so no collision. And when it gets close to it, it's gonna die and spawn some splashes, just for being beautiful and all. And that's gonna trigger uh, the inactive particle that is close to this to start an animation, to scale up and do some rotation. And at the same time, this inactive particle that is now active is also gonna spawn particles, so we kind of create a chain effect. And those particle is going to act as activators, and whatever is close is also going to start animating and shooting particle, and those particles are just going to live for one frame. So we're creating this chain effect, and then everything builds up, and we can have more stuff, and they kind of and when this shooter is hitting something that is already active, it's just going to die and create a splash effect. It's not really going to do anything, but I thought that was better than just letting it go through the object, and we're using a intersect for that. So there's a couple of stuff we're gonna do today, and if you're new to thinking particles, then this might be a good one for you if you want to go more in depth. Yo Star, I believe. Let's see. Mm-mm-mm. This guy, he explains in depth a lot of things. So if you want to know specific stuff, you just search him up. He's also on Seba's YouTube channel. But these are the more recent one versus the one on Seba's channel, I think. Not sure, but there's plenty of stuff on their YouTube channel, so can definitely check that out. And to just we can look at some stuff here. So I just basically expose some stuff. So instead of going into the system, we can do the stuff here. Uh, so yeah, so we have a shooter here. It hits and it starts to activate. Wait. And that's what we're gonna create. We're gonna fragment it inside of thinking particles. So each polygon is gonna be a kind of a separate object or a particle. So, and this is using P search, so it's kind of taxing, I guess, on the computer. So, but for something like this, it's totally fine. You know, you don't have to optimize it too much. I'm fine with this. So, yeah, let's get started. So we have a clean 3ds Max to begin our stuff. Let's just do the text and put this here. Let's say Max typograph is a nice one. And we give this some extrusion, like so. I'm gonna center the pivot, and we can center it in the whirl, like so. And now I'm just gonna use a quantify mesh, so we get something like this. Quite ugly. Let's go with that. That's okay. So it's in the center. So we have that. Now we want to have also something. We need an object so our matter waves can shoot this shooter, this particle that will activate everything. So I'm just going to rotate this like so, move this, and that's about it for that, I think. Now we can go ahead and create our thinking particles, open that up. You, of course, you can open it up here in properties, or I just created a button. And let's see. So little space here. Work area. Yeah. I'm just going to turn off edit on the fly. So when we change stuff, it's going to update in real time. Show mesh, done. Let's create some groups. Groups is important in thinking particles. This is where we can assign certain properties like mass, frictions, and so you might have a shape collision folder or group, as it's called, and everything that is inside of that is going to have shape collision. Everything that is outside of that is not going to have it, and you might have a metal, something that is supposed to be metal, and that might have a certain mass and friction and whatnot. So it's quite important. So let's call it. I'm gonna have the same names as I have that I had in my my system that I created before this. So shooter, trail for the trails. And we have frags, sucky name, but that's gonna be our object that we're gonna make, that we're gonna fragment. And then we have activator p particle and frags activate, and that's about it, I think. And for the master dynamic, it's usually good to have it like this, and not, in case you want to cache this, You want to cache that, and then you can still have more stuff that is using this cached whatever. You might want to spawn some particles on a certain group that is cached, but we can do that even if it's cached. But if you have like this and you cache this, then of course you can't do anything. It's kind of final, so it's good to have it like so. Okay, let's call this flip-flop. Here we want to have birth or born or baby boom, or I don't know. You tell me. So let's start off with creating this. Here we are going to create our objects and whatnot. Let's start off with an object to particle. So what is an object to particle? If you're used to particle flow, this is wow, kind of almost forgot what it is. Well, it's a come on, is it this? So long time ago. Langy. Yeah, it's a birth group where then you can select. I think it is. God, should have showed you. Now I have to check. Yeah, it's that. Fine, whatever. So it's a birth group. So let's call this. What did I call it? Let's frags. Really bad name, but we're gonna roll with it, and we're gonna pick our max text. I'm gonna turn on this, and we're gonna put this in the shooter. We don't need to track. If you have this, if you have the text animated, then you want an object to particle, but we don't have to track. So I'm gonna do an instant shape, and then we can hide it. And since we have this show mesh on, we can then see it. Let's fragment this baby. And threshold, we're gonna set this to 0. Otherwise, it's not gonna actually fragment these pieces. It's gonna prepare it, but it's not gonna be fragmented. We set them in the shooter as well. Same thing there. So let's see. High lifespan. Just I'm gonna check this. As you can see, they are all, each polygon is a separate particle now. Now I'm not gonna use this thickness. That's gonna fuck things up for us. In the letters, if we look at this, as you can see here, so I'm just sticking with none. Yeah, you can of course now you can fragment this in Rayfire and whatnot, and just add them in and not use the fragmenter. But in this case, we're going to what else? Alignment correction. I'm going to turn this on. This is important when we're going to do a rotation to get a certain look. I'm going to, if I remember, I'm going to show you with or without, with and without. So I think that is cool. You can give this a certain color. Let's do the active one to be green, like so. Now we want to scale them down. Give this a scale. So the born particles is going to have a certain scale. So we're just going to have this as 0. And that's that. Now we need the shooter. Well, let's see. This is actually going to be frags. Sorry about that. shooter is this guy. Now let's create a matter waves. And let's call this shooter. Pick our object that we're going to emit particle from. As you can see, boom. Particle per second, I'm going to set this to 0.1. Basically, it's going to give us one particle. I mean, you could use pistol shot, but in case you want to have more, you can always like, oh, 1 a second, and gonna shoot like that. Cool. Awesome. Freaking awesome. Let's just align this. Let's shoot here. You know what we need to do that I kind of forgot? Unhide this. I'm gonna just make this text to be a bit closer. Kind of close. Something like so. Beautiful. Beautiful. Me love you long time. Yeah. Let's see. So we have that. We have the shooter. It's now shooting, and we can just randomize this. And what does this do? It's in case. Oh, now we can see all the places where it can shoot from. Turn this even more if you want to, but yeah, you know, in case you want to shoot more, whatnot. Let's see, something else? No, I don't think so. I think we're pretty good. Now, let's create our trails for this. And let's take the shooter. So, whoa, forgot about that. It goes into the shooter. So now the shooter, whatever we shoot here, is going to be placed in the group shooter. We have a group here that we're going to affect, and this is where we're going to born some particles. Generator born particle. Woohoo! And we want to go with particle to particle, and we need this is going to be the trails. 25. Set this like so. Spin this a little bit. Let's create. My throat is fucking me. We need a scale and then a shape. You can use a shape of your own if you want to. You can just have geometry distance. But we're just gonna stick with a regular cube. And that's, whoa, cool, awesome. You know what? We need to up this, let's say 10 seconds. And the speed 70. That's cool. We have our rocket. Awesome. And that's pretty much it for our born stuff. Next up, we have our something that I call hit. Inside of here, we created two. Let's do inactive hit and active hit. Cool. Now we start to create our inactive hits. So this is when this hits, or quote unquote hits. It's doing a check, but when it hits something that is inactive. And why? Oh, yes, yes. Frags, this is the one that should be red. So, We take our group. Well, we're gonna have a shooter. We're gonna have a P search. P search. Ooh la la. We are going to check for frags. I'm gonna up this. Let's go with particle to this because this is when we're gonna search this baby, and we are going to, when it finds, we want to spawn particles. No, we're gonna do the first hit first. So the first hit is going to be position born. So let's go with found indexes. This is it's gonna say, okay, when it finds some of these frags, turn this on. So now we've turned this on, we're gonna use the position on position. These are going to be our activator. And we just want to have a pistol shot, let's say like so. We can actually have this a little bit longer and animate this, well, if we want to have a if you want them to wait a bit. We can see about that later. Do that 180, and let's see, which we can barely see. Let's have them yellow, perhaps. Of course, they have. Yeah, we need to kill this as well. So we do a particle die. Turn this on. Let's see. That worked. Boom. So it dies. Cool. And we can do the splashes later. We can go to our, we skip the active for now. So we get somewhere activate. And here we want to use our activator particles. And we, let's see, particle search. And this one, set this to particle. Set this to frags. Gonna search that up. I think we can set this pretty low. And we want to send these frags to a new group. And we have groups everywhere. Let's see, is it this one? No, of course not. Why would it be? Group. This. So this one we can just do nearest, I think, not group. On. And this should be frag active. So right now, doesn't really do anything for us. Let's see. So it activates there. It's really close. This is, we don't have, so when it hits, let's go closer. It's like that. This is not a perfect system, depending on how how tight your particles are, so you might need to change some things. But for this, yeah. So it's good. Now we create our animation. It's where we animate everything. Let's call this animate. Animate. Boom, boom. We want to animate what? Frag active. These are the ones, the green ones, that we want to animate. Well, first of all, we can actually just create the chain effect and do a position born. So particle to particle, and we need the position to position, and we have a pistol shot. I don't know how many we need, and this can either be like 0 frames and just give this a distance. We want to send them to activators. We get this, right? I mean, this, look at this. Look at how beautiful this is. Krakatoa render done. Award-winning animation right there. Huh? Can I make this smaller? 1080 my ass. Let's create our animation. So we need a timer. So we get a smooth animation. And start there. Let's set this to a high number so it doesn't stop animating. So we want to create, let's create a scale first. So we're going to animate the scale. So scale, we want to use a node or a float, I mean. We don't have to, you can animate this, but we're going to animate this. Turn on percentage because this is percentage. Now I'm going to go to frame 20, auto key on, do 100%. As you can see, it goes from 0 to 100%. If you want to, you can right click, and here we have our beautiful curve editor. And if you want to, we can give this some Bezier stuff. You know, that's totally fine. I'm going to set this to the scale factor. And you could do this. So time to that and this, like so. And what's going to happen now is, oh, I thought nothing happened first. Like that, right? So it kind of scales. But we can also, let's make this longer, turn off real time. Could be good when you're dealing with thinking particles. Save it up. We can do this so it's start off a bit random or ends randomly. Then we need a value to time. Turn these on. I don't think that's important. 20, as in we made this animation for 20 frames, so I'm going to set this to 20. And we need a random node there. So what do we have to do? We need to, you can turn this off. Set these like so. We want to, our random value is going to be on the value 2, which is this. So now this doesn't do anything. We need to control this here. Go set this to 20 and 40 and call this animation. And we need a particle to particle and value to time. Let's see. Let's make this more obvious. So it's really random, as you can see. Let's, which one of these reactivate? Force this setting. Okay. Oh, like so. So we don't see the particles. So now we're basically going to do the same thing for our rotation. It's not really any different. We are going to use an alignment. We are going to use a float. I'm going to animate this from, let's see, I don't know, let's say 90. 90 to 0 in 20 frames. Like so. And I'm just gonna, you probably want to spend some more time on these tangents. But I'm just gonna do that and be good with that. And now let's see, what are we actually gonna, what is it? We need to set this to none first. And let's see, not the X. Oh, the Y perhaps. Yeah, let's do the Y. So Y rotation value like that. Let's expose the time. Now we're just going to do the same thing here. So you can either, I mean, you can shift drag like so. And by the way, I'm going to lower this to like 40, 40. And like so. And we need a particle, time to time. If we double, okay, we actually need this. Like that. Let's see. So it is rotating. Not much though, but we can overdo this a little bit. Set this to 180 and let it go to 0. And there we animate it. So if I go to this birth and uncheck alignment correction, it's very random. It kind of depends. And well, it's not random, but it's like this might actually be a better look. It depends on how you want it, but it's like these are kind of rotating in one axis, and it's just, you know, it depends on where the pivot points is created, and you know, but this is usually better. And you know, you can create some bounciness if you want to. It's not much of a problem. You can create some more keyframes here and make like a bouncy shape. Just create some more points, and you know, do like this. Maybe this is too little. Let's overdo it. And of course, you wanna, oops, do like this. Holding shift, you break the tangents. Really? Yeah, you need to set this to 30. Well, it depends on how long your animation are. But I have made mine at frame 30. It ends there. Let's just not overdo it as much. And then we have this bounciness. If you want to. Whatever. Whatever floats your boat. Now, that's pretty much it for animation. Easy, huh? Super easy. But what if our object here is shooting out more stuff? How does it work? Does it work? Well, you never know. Set 1 per second. Let's create our active hit. We haven't done that yet, so our active hit. I'm just gonna go with a iterator p pass a b. Here we are gonna use an intersect. This is our only quote unquote collision we're gonna use. We are going to check shooter and drag active. We're gonna do the shooter to position. Let's just check this in first. Particle shape. Set speed as ray. Not sure the values. So what this basically is doing is checking for our shooter, which is whatever comes out of this, and also check for active stuff, which is the green ones when they start animate. Let's add a particle, no, not particle data, particle die. And hit is a boolean, and it's with this we can turn it on and do, what is it we want to kill? Yeah, we want to kill the shooter. So we take this particle to particle A, which is the shooter, and when it hits, it sends out, yep, true value on. Let's turn this on, and now they are removing. They are get removed. Awesome. Yeah, let's create a splash. So we want to do a position born. And this, of course, needs to be turned on when it gets hits. And we want it to spawn on the position where it hits. And then we have, okay, so I did the velocity just to the direction. Let's see. Direction and the velocity of the shooter. And then I just did a negative speed. Let's see. Save this, and well, we actually need to set this to trail, and we need standard shape, and we want to have a spin, dynamic spin. turn this to the born particles. I want a cube, and the lower the value, the more they're going to spin. Let's set this to a high value for now. Pistol shot, 50. And let's see. Oh yeah, of course. It's only on the active. Right now I kind of thought wrong. So they're creating this splash effect. Super high realistic Transformers 5 effect. 25 frames, sure. And you just have to play with the look of it. We can do a variation. 100% variation. You probably want to scale them down over time, but for this, we're just going to just kill them after 25 frames and with a variation of 100%. So what do we have left? I think we have, let's see. Well, we don't have the splash effect for this. Let's turn off none. That's good. We can give this dots so we see a little bit of where they are. But they don't have a splash effect here, so we need to do pretty much the same thing on the inactive hit. So let's call this first hit hurt hit, and now we do a position born. This is going to be for the splash. Found index, boom, turn this on. We need a position and direction. Position, and perhaps the velocity. Velocity is speed and direction in one. Position, position, cool. 25, 100%. Negative, oh, not two negatives or minuses. I don't know, 90, I suppose it is. And here we do the shape, standard shape, and we need a dynamic spin on the born ones. Give this a cube, save, 5, and it creates the splash. Boom. Wow. I mean, this is just too cool. Too cool for school. Yep. So that's that. That is that. So if you want to, well, we can create like a, if you want to have material perhaps. So let's just, this is what I did at least for my awesome, well, I don't know what to say really. Trail and frag actives. And we have a material, shape material. Plug these in. basically just use the same material on all. And that's pretty much what I did. So turn this instance, just drag it in. And that's what I did. That's that. You can cache it, right click, cache record. So now we're caching it. Just a lot faster to play. And that's basically it. Yep. 45 minutes in, you just wasted almost an hour. Oh my god. Metal to you, boy. So now, if you want to expose some things, I've already done that here. You basically just click, and what I mean by expose is like you just have to click on this TP and you get some stuff here instead of having to go inside here and adjust things. Just select what it is you want to show. You use UI as TD tool, and then we have it here, right? And what we can do then, let's just remove this and let's create a sphere. Here you can see some problems as well if you don't get a collision. See if I can get that. Now I'm gonna convert this to poly. So I'm gonna pick this, pick our sphere, put that to frags, instant shape, and unhide, or hide I mean. And now it hits. See there, we don't get any collision detection, which you can go to, let's see, active hit, is it here? Two-sided. Then we get collision, or turn this off. I'm going to unhide, remove this for now. For some reason, it has to do with the normals. Where are you? If I flip this, which is kind of weird, shouldn't be able to need to do that. It shouldn't be flipped. I'm just gonna show you anyways. Frags, same thing. And now it actually works, but it's now they are the wrong side basically, so it's not really a good option. Flip. Oh, I think I know what it is. Maybe. Frags. But anyways, this was the tutorial. So now I'm just messing around here. Well, whatever. Just turn on two-sided and be good with it. So you can just import any object that you wish, and it's gonna work fine. Cool, right? Cool. So yeah, depending on how tight the particles are, or depending on how dense this is, you see the lines here, the polygons, you might need to change some here, but maybe you should be pretty fine. as is. But we're not dealing with actual shape collisions, so just kind of lookups. Yeah, that's that. So hopefully you learn a couple of things. And well, sorry for wasting. Hopefully I haven't wasted too much time for you. So yeah, see you in the next video.